everyone. Welcome to another edition of Spiral Up Living. And I am Trish and my good friend Joanna.
Hello, everybody.
Wonderful to see everyone again. So I am drinking today out of my Live Big. That's my philosophy, live big. And it's got a lovely blend of decaf Earl Grey tea, Robios, and chai and cinnamon. It's just absolutely delightful and refreshing. What are you drinking today, Joanna?
I'm having a nice bottle of water today. I'm working on my hydration today, so I'm gonna be doing the episode with just water.
I have one of those too. I always have a tea beside me and a water beside me, sometimes two waters beside me. And don't freak out, but my cats like to come and jump up on the desk or the table wherever I am, and they like to drink out of my water because I think they must think it's fresher or something. I'm not quite sure, but they enjoy it. So today, we were just talking about what questions maybe were people thinking about, and we were talking about the concept of freedom and how grateful we are for like December of 2019 and before that, or even January of 2020, where we could actually go wherever we wanted at any time where we wanted, and we didn't have a block of a lineup all the way down the building and around the other side to get into Costco, for heaven's sakes. And you know, the trips that Joanna and I would take together, a lot of courses that we would take live with a bunch of energetic people, and you know, we can't do that right now. And so I just look back on this and think how grateful that I am for the freedom that we had to be able to do that.
And it is a very interesting concept because freedom, like a lot of things in life, is one of those things that you only appreciate when you don't have it. So how many of you ever like celebrate and were grateful about your freedom last year for Christmas? Like, it's one of those by default that we assume it was our normal. And it was not until life gave us a challenge to actually spiral up that we were able to stop and reflect and actually start finding that gratitude on that freedom and what means freedom for each of us, because it will mean different.
Absolutely. And I remember being locked down in my house for the initial 14 days when I returned from California, and just being able to get out and interact with people when those 14 days were over, that was a huge accomplishment for me. And now today, for the very first time, I'm going to go to a social distancing lawn party with a bunch of girlfriends. And who would ever think that we would have to arrange a time and have nice weather to be able to have our chairs spaced out so that we could visit safely? It's the concept just still astounds me. The freedom for, hey, let's go to a movie tonight. So we were talking about the freedom of all of us to actually be able to move around the world like we used to. But there's another concept of freedom that we wanted to talk about today, and that's actually the freedom to be you, to be who you are. And maybe you're not quite there yet, but who you want to be.
And that is important because I was actually having that on my social media last week, and is that there is this amazing phrase that says that Wayne Dyer says the only thing that you are 100% sure that you cannot fail at is being yourself. Like, I think that you have two certain things in life. One, that you are going to die someday. And then the other one is that the only thing that you're 100% sure that you will never fail is at being yourself. So with that being said, why we don't just embrace being ourselves and embrace our own uniqueness and our magic instead of keep chasing being somebody else to be able to get fitting or being accepted in a group. I actually remember that for many years when I worked for Goodyear, I was one of the very few females. I was always the youngest female. And because of that, I get this belief that I had to look more mature and that I have to look very serious because I was a girl from Colombia, very young. How they were going to actually acknowledge all the knowledge and the wisdom that I had if I didn't pretend that I was serious. So for many years in my career in Goodyear, I wore like these very plain colors. And if you know me, you know how colorful I am, and I have my unicorn in the background. And for many years, I wore only like browns and whites and beige. And I will never wear a lipstick like this. It will be always a very plain lipstick because I was on that chase to actually fit into what I believe was a better version of myself. And it really caused me a lot of pain because I never enjoyed doing it. And the reality was people knew that I was not being truthful. People, maybe not consciously, but people feel that that was not the authentic me. So the thing that I was actually trying to gain the most, that was their approval and the feeling that I fit in, was the thing that I didn't get. Because even unconsciously, they felt that I was not being authentic. So they never give me their complete buy-in on it. And it took me several years until one day I said, you know what? Screw it. I am a colorful unicorn goddess. And I love my colors, and I love my purple lipstick, and I love my child clothes from Children's Place. And if you cannot see that, in addition to all that, I'm also a kick-ass leader and an amazing coach and business entrepreneur, then you are not the person that I want to make business with, because then your vision is too low for me.
What a wonderful way to look at it. And truly, when you're in business, like Joanna and I are, and we do a lot of coaching with people, it's not about competing against other people within your same industry. People will actually come and want to work with you because of who you are. So it's super important to be able to show that to the world. And I come from a British family, and I was told or shown that everything had to be very prim and proper. I, like Joanna, unbeknownst today, I actually love wild colors and prints. And my mom did too. But really, when it came to behavior, you were supposed to be quiet. I think the term is, I don't know, it was like sight unseen, like sit there and be quiet and talk when you're asked to talk, and otherwise just be there. Don't actually voice your own opinion about anything. Just kind of go along with the rest of the people. And that's how I grew up.
It's phenomenal to see how we can give up our own freedom and our own potential to actually shine and be magnificent just because of the influence that others had. I know that Trish and I were talking about that one of the freedoms that we will invite you to claim back is the freedom from other people's judgments. It is how many times we do or do not do things just because we are afraid, we are fearful of the judgment of other person. Like, I'm afraid of what my mom will say. I'm afraid what my husband will say. I'm afraid what my best friend will say. And because of that fear of judgment, we hold ourselves to not do what we really want to do, or even worse, we accept and agree to do things that we really don't want to do.
The old, saying yes to things when you truly want to be saying no.
Yes.
That is a big one. And as I mentioned before, a lot of what holds us back from being you is the beliefs from your parents. And not the beliefs maybe that they verbalize to you, but again, my parents were not very adventurous with us around. They actually were adventurous because they loved to travel, and they would come home and talk about their travels, but we actually didn't travel very much as a family. My dad had his own business, so he worked super hard, and I learned that in order to be successful, you have to work hard. That belief has shrunk for me now, and I do know that I can have a lot more freedom in my life, and my business will actually grow and thrive for the fact that I am taking time to learn and grow myself through experiences, as well as taking the time to take care of me.
Absolutely, and it's so important for all those parents right now. I know that we talked about this in the past, but making sure that you are building and planting in your kids that concept of freedom, of having the divine right to be free, to be yourself, to be free to express your emotions, to be free to express your desires, to be free to say yes or no in a safe environment. That is one of the best gifts that we can give to our kids, is give them the confidence that it is the right to be free. They should not be holding on or holding back on their freedom because of us as parents or society. And talking about the saying yes to everything, I had a period of my time that cut off my freedom a lot, because again, with that need of fitting in and that need of please others and that fear of judgment of my friends and my family, I get to a point that I will say yes to overlapping commitments, and then I will try to meet them all. So then I will be driving like a lunatic through Cali, trying to go from one event to another event, and then at the end I end being late. So the person that I came late was upset because I came super late. The person that I left early was upset because I was early. So at the end it was even worse, but it was just my desire to please everybody and to fit in and not be myself. I didn't feel free to be myself, and it was a bad time in my life. I remember when I went to the bottom, at the end of 1 year, I decided, say, okay, next year I will say no to everything, the most simple things, because I need to train my brain to feel comfortable being me and being myself and having the freedom to be me. And I spent 1 entire year telling people no, just because. But why? There is no why. I just don't want to. No. My mom, I remember my mom would call me from the first floor. We live in a 2-story house. From the first floor, he will say, Joanita, do you want to the salon to do a manicure and pedicure with me? And I'll be like, no. And she was like, what? Why not? Because not. I don't want to. But it was a good exercise to build that right to be free and that right to have the freedom to be myself. So
it took me way longer to learn that no lesson than it sounds like it did for you. And I never experienced that say no to everything, but that's a great concept. I think people should try that. And for sure, it's I was the yes person. Yeah. And for me, that came or comes, still does come from just wanting to be liked and loved and accepted. So of course I want to say yes to everything. But I have learned about boundaries, and I am much stronger about it. But that definitely is one of my shadows. that I have to be careful of, because it will bring me down quite a bit if I am just going around saying yes all the time, because I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to disappoint you. So, but then it's not really living true to who I am. And then I feel, even within my energy of my body, I feel it start to close up and shut down when I say yes to all these things, because it's just not really who I am.
And it's that lack of freedom. And for example, the exercise of the nose, because of that, it is really hard for, especially for women, to say no, because by default we are a little more pleasers than men. And then the exercise is that you say no to things that doesn't matter. So you don't have that little devil in your mind saying, oh, you are going to disappoint Trish, so you need to say yes. So you exercise your muscle with decisions that really are very trivial. So they are, you just say no to very simple things, and then in that way you will be using that muscle and making that muscle stronger. So Trish, what are the things we have that we can lose our freedom? In what other ways we can lose our freedom?
Can we lose our freedom?
I think that we can give up our freedom. I don't think that anybody can take it from us, but I think that we can lose our freedom if we give in our freedom. I think that if we just give it away, we will totally lose it. Talking back on the boundaries, I think that is part of one of those boundaries that you need to have on your freedom and what freedom means to you, because it actually means something different to all of us.
Absolutely. And freedom for me is all about experiences. And it's about meeting as many people as I can and learning from each one of them. It's about going as many places as I can and trying as many new things as I can. Now, I am not quite as adventurous as Joanna in the trying new things, but since we've been hanging out together the last couple of years, I'm getting a lot braver about that. And it does really feel like I do have that adventurous spirit in me. So I don't just sit back and watch. Well, some things, because they're a little dangerous maybe for me, because I'm older, I don't know. But I really love to wrap myself into all the adventures, and for sure the ones we've had together are super special. And I've never had a moment, even when Joanna is more adventurous and trying things, that I sit back and go, well, I can't do that. I don't want to, or I'm scared, and so I don't really feel very good about myself or whatever. I just watch in awe at all the adventurous things that Joanna has done on our trips together.
And it is okay to have different concepts of freedom. And one thing that we will invite you to do to have the freedom to be you is, the first thing is that you need to clearly define what freedom means to you. So what makes you feel free? And then similar to Trish, for example, for me freedom is all about explore and discover and having that freedom and that liberty to actually move around at my own pace, and having the room to decide what I do, when I do it, and why I do it. That is freedom for me. And with Justin, my ultimate freedom is to have the ability, the time, and the resources to just spend my life and most of my time doing fun activities with him and exploring the world with him. That is the definition of freedom for me.
And most definitely, we will put our social media handles in underneath the podcast, so that people can have a look at the adventures that we have both been in. And we would love to hear about some of the adventures or experiences that you feel really had you having a sense of freedom for who you are? That some experiences that really showed the real, genuine you.
And I think that it is a interesting topic because freedom means something different to every person. One of the best exercises to do is to go deep inside and think, what makes me feel free? That's the first question. And then what makes me feel happy? And usually when we can answer those two questions and we know what makes me feel free and what makes me feel happy, that is a very close guide to understand actually what freedom means to each of us and what are the things of freedom that are more valuable for some of us than others.
Absolutely. And the other point that we were wanting to make is for you to take responsibility for how you and you alone see the world.
And that is especially now when we are getting onto this, and we're going to have an amazing guest next week that is going to probably talk a little bit more about this, that I will share at the end of the chapter of the episode. But especially now that it's much easier to point out to others and try to blame others for what is going on. Like my parents used to say that each time that you point a finger, you have 3 fingers pointing to yourself. So you are 3 times more responsible for things that the person that you are pointing. And I think that is so important right now because we are in that momentum, and unfortunately we have some I will not call them leaders, but some people in very high levels of power that are supporting that momentum of finding the blame and finding the responsible outside. So we are getting all this mentality of finding the blame, picking bands, and you are right, I'm wrong, you are wrong, I'm right. And the reality is we are the main responsibles. Like one of my favorite stories is the story of Buddha, where it says that somebody was coming really upset with Buddha, and then it was just insulting him and mistreating him, and he was really upset because his wife started following Buddha, and because he started following Buddha, stopped doing her chores at home. So he came and spit on Buddha, and he was very upset with Buddha, and Buddha stayed calm and smiled and listened. And then the guy left, and 2 days later he came even more upset because now his wife was upset with him because he disrespected Buddha, and did the same. And then the disciples start asking him, like, Master, how come you didn't let us hold him back? How you didn't let us stop him from disrespect you and treat you like that? And how you just stayed so calm? And then Buddha smiled and say, well, he is giving me a gift, and it is my choice if I take the gift or not. And if I don't take the gift, then he stays with his gift. I don't have to take it. Doesn't matter how pretty the package is in the outside. If I don't take it, it's not mine. It's still his. So I think that is that part of the responsibility. It doesn't matter what happened in your outside. You are still responsible for how you see the world, how you respond to the world, and how you react to the world from your original you, your authentic you, from having the freedom to be you.
And I love how you brought up the word choice, because it is our choice on how we see the world. And it is our choice on one concept that we were going to talk about, which is we can choose what we put into our bodies to help our bodies actually support the life that we are here to live. And so when Joanna and I were talking earlier about going for this social engagement, we were talking about the choices. So when you go to parties or you go out to restaurants, which our restaurants are actually starting to have 50% capacity now, woo-hoo! we maybe make choices that maybe aren't good for us, that maybe don't fuel us the way that we should or make us feel really good, just because it's a bunch of other people. So there's societal pressures that can take away your freedom, even if it's not conscious, but it takes away your freedom to really be who you are. You don't have to do things like drinking or eating certain things in a social environment in order to have fun and to show people who you truly are.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reality is, sadly, that is one of the freedoms that we actually don't realize that we miss. Like something like 90% of the population in the world don't have the freedom of food. And that is having the freedom to make a decision based on what is right for you and what is right for your body, versus make a decision based on emotional needs, emotional hunger, or make a decision based on peer pressure, or make a decision based on group where you are. And it really impacts a lot how you do things in the world. I think that is the first step. Like, if you are able to first have food freedom, and then that food freedom will give you a better health and will get you a better body, then from there you have a better self-esteem. And then if you have a better self-esteem and you feel proud about you and your body and how you look and how you feel, then you are going to be even more courageous to actually be authentically you and have the freedom to be you.
Most definitely. You don't have to do what other people are doing in order to fit in. And I know I'm working on my sexy size 6, because that's going to make me feel even better. And I've got that man out there that's waiting for me, so.
And it is true. I think that each step of the process will build up on the next one. And it will just require some small changes. So I was hearing before that it's very funny that every person in the world take action based on 2 things: trying to avoid pain or trying to look for pleasure. Those are the 2 reasons. There is not any other reason why somebody take action. They are just trying to avoid pain or trying to get some pleasure on their life. So on that matter, getting with the food freedom, that is usually how we make our decisions. We try to get more pleasure when we eat, or we try to get away from some pain, emotional pain, and then we just use our food. And that fits very, very nice into what is coming next, because Trish and I are very excited to share with you something that is coming on in June. So June 8th, we are going to be part of a 14-day global health reset. And that 14-day global reset is part of, or is one of the offerings that we have on WildFit. So the WildFit Challenge, like some of you know, is a transformational health program. And then from that one, we actually create a 14-day reset where people can have a feeling and understanding on how to change for life your relationship with food, and understanding why diets don't work, and actually have some basic foundations to transform how you interact and relate with food, and from there get better and a stronger basis to move forward. And that is starting June 8th. And we have a super exciting news, and it is that the founder of WildFit, Eric Edmis itself, is going to be co-coaching that challenge with me. So you're going to have the 2 of us plus another master coach, Ariel, coaching you through those 14 days. So where you are going to have live calls with Eric, Ariel, and I 2 times per week during those 2 weeks. And we will just give you all the structure and the fundamentals for you to start claiming your food freedom and start finding where you are losing your freedom and what you need to do to actually be free from food and live the life of your dreams. So we are super excited about that. This being just good news after good news. If that was not enough, I will let Trish tell you what is our surprise for next week.
Yes, and we are so excited to also have our good friend and mentor and coach on our podcast next week. Eric Edmeades is going to join us and give his wisdom on freedom and leadership and food probably. And we are so excited to have him.
Absolutely. We are going to be picking his brain about his leadership, because he is a multi-business entrepreneur, very successful. But for sure, we will also ask him to tell you why we are excited about this 14-day global reset. We are actually aiming to have 100,000 people joining us for this 14-day global reset, because we really believe that if you claim your food freedom, you are going to be able to, from there, start changing your life. And when you change your life, you can impact the life of others. So we are very excited about that. And if you want to hear more about the 14-day reset, we are starting June 8th. So that is actually 3 weeks from now. So 3 weeks from Monday. So you have time to just reach out to Trish or I and just work on that reset. And it is a very, very accessible price for what it is, to having almost 7 hours of coaching directly from Eric, Ariel, and I. So that is exciting.
Yeah, and I just want you all to come a little closer, just a little closer. And I will tell you from personal experience that this is life-changing. It's not a diet. It is a transformational journey that just happens to center around food. And I know Eric very well. I know Joanna, of course, super well. And I have met Ariel. And I'm blown away that these 3 amazing people are going to put this experience out for everyone. So, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, and $49, oh my God, that's like unbelievable and unheard of. So come on, people, let's get out there. Just contact me, contact Joanna, and we're going to be doing some question and answers for you on our page about this, and some Facebook Lives in our own groups about this. So, come with the questions, and irregardless of the questions, get signed up, people. Get signed up. You will not regret it.
Yeah, that is what we are contributing to all of you. I think that Trish and I are in a quest of a Spiral Up. And a Spiral Up and a Spiral Up community is all about the freedom of being you, the freedom of being authentically and unapologetically you. And that starts with you. We are not talking here about weight. We are not talking here about size, but it starts being you, being freely you, starts with you feeling good and enjoying an optimal peak of health, and being able every day to wake up and feel healthy and vibrant and energetic, and know that your body had your back to live the life of your dreams. So because we believe in that, and because we both went through that journey, is that we are very excited to share with you this opportunity in June that will help you on this journey of finding ways to have the freedom of being you.
That's so exciting, Joanna, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy for our whole entire community that you get this amazing opportunity.
Thank you, and I'm excited too. I hope that we all get together, and I hope that a lot of people from the spiral community join us on this 14-day global reset. And it is going to be fun, especially knowing Eric and Ariel and me is going to be a lot of fun those 14 days, and we're going to learn a lot. And it is also is one step closer, it's getting one step closer of the freedom of being you, and the freedom to be free from judgment, the freedom of being free to say no when you want, the freedom of doing what you want and what you don't want. And all that could start June 8th if you jump the road with us.
So exciting. And my other question is, how many of you who are watching us on YouTube don't love the unicorn behind Joanna? Is that not the most cool thing you've ever seen? Oh my God, it's so great. Anyway, we're signing off for today. Spiral up, everybody. We are here with you. And whatever you want to talk about, know about, we will jump on our Facebook Live and have a visit with you. And don't forget, 14-day reset. Love you so much, Joanna. Thank you for being here today.
Love you. Bye-bye. Bye, you guys.